Well, hello, Nats fans, and welcome to another edition of the DoDCast Postgame Show. I'm Drew Douglas, and I'll be your host for tonight. And boy, what a game that was! The Nationals beat the Philadelphia Phillies 4-3 in the first game of a 4-game series at Nationals Park, and the first game of a 10-game homestand for the Nats. It's their last really long homestand of the season, as it is September now. And winning the game tonight, the Nationals' magic number is down to 5, and Miami is still in progress, so it could be down to 4 by the end of the night. You never know, but Nationals are definitely getting close to winning that division, something that is definitely difficult to do no matter what division you're in. So it's going to be very exciting when they win the division, and hopefully they're able to gear up and go on a deep postseason run. So we'll get into the lines a little bit tonight from this great game for the Nats. Trey Turner, recently back from a wrist injury, he had a big game tonight. While he only went 1 for 4, he had the big 2 RBI hit to give the Nationals the lead, put them ahead. To give them their 3rd and 4th runs, which they eventually held on to for the win. And he also had a big heads-up play. Towards the end of the game, there was a Wilmer Difo hit one hopper to the shortstop, Freddie Galvis, and Rafael Batista was on second base. He thought that the ball was caught, and so he dove back into second. But Trey Turner was on first, and he knew that it bounced. So Freddie Galvis threw to second, and so Trey Turner was out there. But then Rafael Batista thought he was out as well, and he started going back to his dugout. Trey Turner told him to go back to second because he had never been tagged. And after the umpires got together, they decided that, yes, the ball did bounce, and Rafael Batista was safe at second, which probably wouldn't have been possible without the heads-up play from Trey Turner. So that was big. He's taken leadership on the team and also performing well at the plate and defensively. Wilmer Difo in the 2-hole tonight, he gave Anthony Rendon a day off playing third base. He went 1 for 4 with a strikeout. Daniel Murphy stayed hot. He went 1 for 3 with a walk. Ryan Zimmerman didn't have a great night tonight. He went 0 for 4, but it happens. He's been playing pretty well recently. He scored a couple runs last night in Miami, so give him the benefit of the doubt here. Adam Lind just continues to rake. He's been great for the team this year. Today he played left field and batted 5th, and he went 2 for 3 with a run scored. And he's just such a professional hitter. He comes in off the bench, always seems to get a hit, gets a start no matter where it is, whether it's at first base or in the outfield. He's just always hitting, and he's even managed to play decent play in the outfield. Tonight he wasn't credited with an error, but he did misread a ball at the wall. But you know that happens. He is naturally a first baseman. He doesn't have too much experience out in the outfield, and if you're gonna go 2 for 3 and he's hitting 303 right now, like that's obviously excusable. If you hit, the Nats are going to find a spot for you in the lineup. So it's good to see him in the lineup with a few more hits tonight. Michael Taylor had a big night. He went 1 for 4 with a run scored and a huge catch in the outfield. When Brandon Kinsler was pitching in the 7th inning, Andres Blanco hit what looked to be a game-tying home run, but Michael Taylor made a great catch to rob him of a homer in center field. Matt Wieters struggled a little bit towards the beginning of the game, but ended up having a big hit. He went 1 for 4 with a run and an RBI. That was a big RBI double. Alejandro De Aza got the start in right field tonight. He went 1 for 1 with an RBI. Then he was eventually subbed out for Howie Kendrick, who went 1 for 1 with a run scored. So he had a big night off the bench tonight. And Rafael Batista, who's recently called up today, he pinch hit for Rourke and went 1 for 2. So a lot of good stuff from the Nats tonight. A big game altogether. Look in the chat a little bit. Joe Joker said lots of fun all around. Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you get a win, it's a lot of fun. But, yeah, tonight was a great game altogether. Seth said he can't wait until he gets to go to the Dodgers game on Sunday, September 16th. And, yeah, that'll be a big game. Obviously, the Dodgers have the best record in MLB right now and coming to D.C. soon. I'm not sure how much we'll see from either team. Don't want to tip too much as they'll potentially play in the playoffs. And both teams pretty much have their playoff spot locked up. But, yeah, it'll still be a good matchup between two great teams. Judo Joker said what he loves about these past few games is there really hasn't been a single hero, and this team is coming together well. And De Aza should be traded for a signed bat, though. And yet, that's really what I love about this team, too. With so many injuries, with all the injuries that they've had this year, just so many guys have stepped up, whether it's Michael Taylor or Adam Lind or Wilmer Difo or Brian Goodwin before he got hurt himself. Just so many guys have come up and just gotten an opportunity due to an injury, and they've just run with it. So, like what he's saying, there hasn't really been a single hero this year, but just every night it's someone new producing. It's been a lot of fun to watch. And, yeah, like he said, De Aza should be traded for a signed bat. I'm not a big fan of Alejandro De Aza, but with so many injuries, you have to have someone out there in the outfield. So I guess he'll do for now, but hopefully we don't see him on the postseason roster. There should be some better options other than Alejandro De Aza. And then he said, in other news, he's as far from an SJW as you can get, but he thinks the Braves are playing like rock you like a hurricane was not exactly in the best taste, to put it mildly. And yeah, what he's referring to is tonight the Braves played rock you like a hurricane, and they are playing the Miami Marlins, who in Miami is currently being affected by Hurricane Irma. So yeah, I don't think they really thought that through too much. It's probably just on their normal game day playlist. But yeah, it's not great taste. And let's get back into the numbers a little bit. Pitching tonight, Tanner Roark got to start, and he didn't have it wasn't his best game, but he kept the Nats in a position to win. He went 6 innings, allowed 7 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned on 1 walk and 6 strikeouts. And he allowed 2 homers, so it was a little susceptible to homers tonight, which is odd considering it's September at Nationals Park. It's a chilly night. Ball doesn't typically travel too well. But, it happens. The Phillies do have a couple of good power hitters, so nothing to be ashamed of. But, yeah, like I said, Roark kept the Nats in a position to win. He had most of his pitches working. His 2-seam had a lot of late break on it tonight, back towards the right-handed batter, so that's always good. Kind of jam a right-handed batter, which he did pretty well tonight. His slider looked good, and finally his changeup looked pretty good. It's one of the better changeups I've seen from him over the season. And he got the win, improved to 12-9 on the year. Then Brandon Kinsler came in. He threw a perfect 7th inning, but he got hit pretty hard. Like I said earlier, Andres Blanco hit what looked to be the game-tying home run before being robbed by Michael Taylor. And then after him, Cesar Hernandez crushed the line drive. Luckily, it was right at Trey Turner. And then Freddie Galvis attempted to bunt, and Brandon Kinsler made a good barehanded play to throw Galvis out at first. So while it was a perfect inning in the box score, it is a little discouraging as he was hit pretty hard. But it happens, and he's been great for the Nationals since they acquired him, and he had a great first half in Minnesota. So I'm not going to read too much into that, and hopefully he's able to continue to throw up zeros no matter how they come. A 0 is a 0. Ryan Madsen came in to pitch the 8th. This was one of his first appearances since returning from the disabled list, and he looked great tonight. He went 1 inning, allowed 1 hit, but struck out 2. And after the Nationals acquired him from Oakland, he looked to be one of the best relievers in the MLB, and then he had the bad finger sprain, had to miss some time. But since coming back, he's looked like his old self, which is huge, having him back for the playoffs, especially after the news yesterday that Cody Glover probably will not return this season. So having Madsen back and pitching well is a great sign. And then Sean Doolittle came in for the 9th. He looked great as always, threw 1 inning and struck out 1 guy, got to save his 19th of the year. So it's always fun to see Doolittle go out there and pitch at Nationals Park. You hear the dews raining down from the crowd. So, yeah, I loved Sean Doolittle as a pitcher. I'm glad that they have him locked up for a long time, and it's always a lot of fun when he comes in to pitch. Joe Joker said in the chat, I say don't put the new bullpen in against the Dodgers next week. Let them face them the first time in October. And, yeah, that sounds like a good plan to me. The Dodgers, while they probably have seen some of these guys a little bit, all 3 of the Nats' new relievers were in the American League, with Brandon Kinsler of Minnesota and Sean Doolittle and Ryan Madsen with Oakland. So I'm sure the Dodgers haven't seen them too much, and you don't want to tip your hand a lot in a meaningless regular season game when you could throw them out there in the postseason. So, yeah, I think it's a great point, Judo. And then Larry Jacobs said win number 86, like it. And, yeah, the Nationals, they're having a great year. I'd like to see how many wins they're able to get by the end of the season, but I think maybe they'll slow down a little bit down the stretch just because Dusty's going to start giving guys days off. And then the Nationals obviously aren't going to play as well. But, they have been really playing with guys down with so many injuries all year, and they've managed to win. So I guess you never really know. Kind of getting into the Phillies side a little bit tonight. Cesar Hernandez, who seems to always kill the Nats, had another good game against the Nationals tonight. He went 1 for 4 with a run scored. Freddie Galvis went 1 for 4 with an RBI. Odubel Herrera went 2 for 3 with a walk. He had he had a double early in the game, and he pimped it like he thought it was a homer, which he typically does, as Bob and FP alluded to. And luckily it didn't go out, but yeah, he's definitely pimping it like it was a homer. Nick Williams in the 5-hole went 1 for 4. Tommy Joseph in the 6-hole playing first base, he went 1 for 3 with a run scored and RBI. That was the homer. And that's really one of the highest homers I've ever seen hit. And I didn't think it was going out just because it was hit so high, but the ball somehow just managed to keep carrying and sneak out of the ballpark. So at the time I was a little frustrated, but the Nationals went on to get the win. So, I'll take it. J.P. Crawford, one of the Phillies' top prospects, recently called up. He was called up on Tuesday in New York, so this was his third game in the big leagues. He went 0 for 4 tonight, but he had a lot of solid contact, so it looks like he has a bright future ahead of him. Jorge Alfaro, who's batting 8th and catching for the Phillies, he went 1 for 4 with a homer. And he hasn't really played too much in the big leagues this year, but when he has played, he's been great. He's got a .355 batting average, a couple homers. The ball really just seems to jump off his bat when he makes contact, although he does strike out a little bit too much. But, yeah, he's got a bright future ahead of him, it appears, like a lot of those young Phillies. And then Aaron Nola got the start for Philadelphia tonight. He went 5 1/3 innings, allowed 7 hits, 3 runs. Only 2 of them were earned on 2 walks and 8 strikeouts. So he had pretty good stuff tonight. The Nationals didn't hit him too well, and he kept the Phillies in position to win, ended up getting a no decision. Alex Morgan came in. He went an inning and 2/3, allowed 2 hits, 1 run. It was earned on 1 walk and 2 strikeouts. And he was a starter earlier this year, but he's since been moved to the bullpen. And he's really looked better since being moved to the bullpen, but didn't have his best stuff tonight. Got credited with the loss and a blown save. So it was his first blown save of the year, but he fell to 3-2. And then Luis Garcia came in for the 8th inning. He threw 1 inning, allowed 1 hit and 1 strikeout. So he pitched pretty well, but at that point the damage was done. So yeah, like I said, Aaron Nola pitched pretty well, but it just wasn't his night. Back in the chat, Seth Ross said, "Drew, do you think Michael A. Taylor should win Gold Glove this year?" I think he definitely deserves it. It seems like every night he's making terrific plays in the outfield. He makes them all look easy for the most part. That play at the wall tonight to rob the homer, it just looked effortless. And then he made the great play last night where a lot of center fielders either wouldn't have gotten to the ball or would have had to dive. He just he was shaded to left center and ran all the way to the warning track in right center in Miami, which is a huge ballpark. And ended up settling under the ball and taking a hit away from D. Gordon. So, yeah, I think he definitely deserves to win Gold Glove. I think maybe he'll be in the discussion, but he's not a big enough name, so I don't think he'll win it, which is a shame. But if he keeps this up over the next few seasons, I think he'll definitely get one in the future. Judo Joker said he thinks Gio should be considered for a Gold Glove, and yeah, I agree with that. He's one of the better fielding pitchers this year, and I think along with Gold Glove, he'll definitely garner some Cy Young consideration. As right now he has the 3rd best ERA in all of baseball, so he's been great this year. It's been a lot of fun to watch him pitch. Larry Jacobs said if Jason is not back next season, he's referring to Jason Worth, he said Taylor should play center, Adam Eaton in left, and Bryce Harper in right field. And yeah, I agree with that. I think I'm not sure if Jason Worth will be back. I kind of talked about this the other night where I think his contract is expiring this year. I think he'll probably go to an American League team where he can DH and just play outfield on occasion. And yeah, I love the idea of Adam Eaton shifting over to left because with the way Michael Taylor has played this year, he definitely deserves to start. And with his defense, you want to keep him in center. And when the Nationals acquired Adam Eaton, people were saying that he kind of projected better as a corner outfielder. So while he did play solid defense in center field this year, I do like him as a corner outfielder. And also coming back from the knee surgery, I think it'll be good for him to kind of put him in the corner outfield. It won't be as hard on his legs. So yeah, that'll be definitely interesting to see. But another guy that possibly in consideration for an outfield spot next year is Victor Robles, the Nationals' top prospect. He was called up today, made his MLB debut. He came in off the bench and he flied out to right, but he hit the ball hard. I really liked his swing a lot, and I can tell this is really one of the first times I've seen him play, apart from the Futures game and All-Star Weekend or All-Star Week. And he's really I finally can see why scouts are so high on him. He's a 5-tool player. We didn't see him run too much tonight since it was a flyout, but he's got a lot of speed. He's a great defender. He's got a solid arm, so I'm excited to see him play. Hopefully he'll get a start here in the next few days, and we can kind of see him throughout an entire game and not just one pinch hitting appearance off the bench. And along with Victor Robles, Andrew Stevenson and Rafael Batista were called up today. And these are probably some of the last moves for the Nationals after rosters expanded for September. But obviously there are some guys still coming back from injuries. We got Bryce Harper, hopefully will be back shortly from the injury. Brian Goodwin, while they said he had a setback and may be out for the year, hopefully we see him back in the lineup at some point. And there's several Nationals that hopefully we see him coming back, but it is getting late. So I think it's time to start worrying about if they will be coming back this season. Back in the chat, Larry Jacobs said Adam Lynn never disappoints. And yeah, absolutely. Like I said, he's done a great job and just in any role the Nets asked for him. He's typically been a starter in his career, but he came here to backing up Ryan Zimmerman. He's done a great job off the bench, great job spelling Zimmerman, spelling outfielders, whether he's playing first base or left field. And it seems like he's just getting a hit nearly every time up. So, yeah, he had 2 hits tonight, and he's one of the best hitters in the league, in my opinion. And I really hope he's back next year, but I'm sure someone will want him to start for them, and maybe he takes that offer over backing up Ryan Zimmerman here for the Nationals. And Seth Ross said Pedro Severino should be on the postseason roster. And, yeah, that's definitely a good point. Last year he was on the playoff roster since Wilson Ramos was hurt. Now Ramos is obviously with Tampa Bay, so he's no longer in the picture for the Nationals. But Matt Wieters, assuming he's healthy, will be the national starter. And then I think Severino should garner some consideration, but I just think Lobaton, with all his experience, will probably make the roster. And Lobaton also has good experience in the playoffs. He had the big walk-off homer when he was still in Tampa Bay. And then last year in Game 2 of the National League Division Series against the Dodgers, he had a big homer against Rich Hill. So, yeah, I think Lobaton will make the roster over Severino. But, yeah, Lobaton really hasn't done too much this year. So I think it'll definitely be a conversation. But I think in the end, Lobaton makes the roster over Severino. So we'll take a look around the league. What's going on tonight? The New York Mets. Also in the NL East, they beat the Cincinnati Reds tonight 7-2. Matt Harvey got the win for the Mets. He improves to 5-4, and he lowered his ERA to 5.82. And Tyler Mahle got the loss for Cincinnati. He fell to 0-2. Brandon Nimmo hit 2 homers for the Mets, his second and third of the year, and Juan Lagares hit his 3rd homer of the year. The other game in the division, the Atlanta Braves are playing the Miami Marlins. The Marlins are currently beating the Braves 5-4 in the top of the 9th. So if the Marlins do hold on and beat the Braves, then the Nationals' magic number will stay at 5. But still, with about a month to go, the magic number 5 is pretty much a lock to make the postseason. So I'm not too worried about that. Yeah, like I said earlier, it'll be a lot of fun to watch them clinch and celebrate in the clubhouse as they prepare to go into the postseason, hopefully go on a deep postseason run. The Los Angeles Dodgers are currently losing to the Colorado Rockies 3-0. The Rockies put up a 3 spot in the first inning. It's only the second inning, and they're already losing even with Clayton Kershaw on the mound. So, yeah, I guess even Clayton Kershaw, who's widely believed to be the best pitcher in the league, I think Max Scherzer probably is a little better over the last couple of years. But it's really, you can't go wrong with either Scherzer or Kershaw. But, yeah, I guess even Kershaw is human. So he gave up 3 runs in the very first inning tonight. And the Baltimore Orioles, the other DMV area team, lost to the Yankees tonight, 9-1. Sonny Gray got the win for the Yankees, improving to 9-9. And Kevin Gausman got the loss for the Orioles, falling to 10-10. Aaron Judge hit his 39th homer of the year for the Yankees. Chase Headley hit his 12th of the year. Starlin Castro hit his 14th of the year. And Todd Frazier hit his 23rd of the year. So a lot of good stuff going around in the major leagues. In the minor leagues tonight, the Auburn Double Days, who are the Nationals' last standing minor league affiliate, they played their final game. They beat the Batavia Muck Dogs 9-5. So now all the Nationals minor league affiliates are done. So tonight is the last minor league update for the year. But obviously, with rosters expanded, the Nationals have a lot of guys who spend a majority of the season in the minor leagues with the team. So you can still follow them and follow along with what you heard in most of the minor league updates this year. You can see what they're doing on the big league level and on the bright stage. So hopefully they continue to play well, as most of them have, and it'll be a lot of fun to watch them throughout September, kind of a glimpse into the Nationals' future. Back in the chat, like I said about the Dodgers score, Larry Jacobs said, Rockies winning early over the Dodgers. What do you think is going wrong with the Dodgers? And yeah, they were having a historic season. Now all of a sudden they've kind of run into a brick wall. They've really struggled a lot lately, and losing again early tonight. So I think maybe it's just getting a little tired, or maybe a little lackadaisical. They have a huge division lead, so they don't have too much to play for. Just try to get through the season into the postseason. And maybe there's a little pressure on them after Sports Illustrated named them the best team ever, because ever since that came out, that was really the start of their struggles. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. I think maybe they'll figure it out again later in September and into the postseason. But yeah, it's definitely interesting, because while they were really a lock to be the best team in the league, and they probably still will be, the Nationals are quickly gaining ground on them. The Nationals have been pretty hot throughout the Miami series, and now they got another win tonight. And so while the Dodgers probably still will be the best team in the league going into the playoffs or have the best record, they're not going in on a good foot. And weirder things have happened. Maybe we see the Dodgers get eliminated in the first round. The playoffs are really a crapshoot, and anything can happen. So, it'll be a lot of fun to watch in the postseason. Seth Ross said, bold prediction, the D-backs will win the NL West. I'm not sure that'll happen. They've been really hot. They've won like 13 straight, I believe it is, and the Dodgers have been really cold, but the division lead is 9, and there's only about a month to go. So I'm not sure D-backs will come all the way back and beat the Dodgers in the division, but maybe what we see is D-backs win that wild card and win the wild card game and go in and beat the Dodgers in the NLDS. I really wouldn't be surprised to see that. Like I said, the playoffs are a crapshoot, and the Dodgers aren't exactly going into the playoffs very hot, assuming they don't heat back up in the last month or so. So, yeah, I'm not sure the D-backs will win the NL West, but they could get the last laugh and eliminate the Dodgers in the postseason. So a little more about today's game. The Nationals did get the win in the end, but at the beginning it was kind of sloppy, I thought. Matt Wieters struck out early on with runners at second and third. All he needed to do was put a ball in play to score a run. And then obviously they didn't score that time because then after Wieters struck out, then all of a sudden second and third and 2 outs. And so the Phillies intentionally walked Alejandro De Aza to get to Tanner Roark, who struck out. So Nationals couldn't take advantage of that run scoring situation. And then Matt Wieters, some more sloppy play from him when he was catching. There's a change up in the dirt, which was strike 3, but he came up on it instead of trying to drop and block, and it got away from him, allowing Tommy Joseph to reach. Luckily, Joseph didn't end up scoring. Didn't really hurt the Nats too much, but obviously it could have. You never want to give away free base runners, especially to lead off the inning like that was. And then another big run-scoring situation, Ryan Zimmerman came up with runners at first and second and 1 out and grounded into a double play. So, the Nationals had some run-scoring situations tonight that they didn't exactly take advantage of, but in the end, they didn't pay for it, and they were able to still win the game. So you always like to see that. But in the future, you definitely like to see them take advantage of some of those run-scoring situations, and so it won't hurt them. Seth said, let's talk about the Cleveland Indians. They're about to win 15 games in a row, and yeah, like he said, they're currently winning. They're beating the Chicago White Sox 10-2 in the 8th inning, so it looks like pretty much a lock for them to win that game, barring anything unexpected. And yeah, they've been hot. Them and the Diamondbacks are both on fire, and it's a lot of fun to watch. Tonight, the Indians' offense was really clicking on all cylinders. They scored 4 in the first, 1 in the second, and 2 in the third, and then they went 3 whole innings without scoring a run before scoring another 3 in the 7th. So their offense has been great. I like them a lot. They were great last year. Obviously, they went to the World Series, and then they picked up Edwin Encarnacion in the offseason. He's been a good pickup for them. So, they're a scary team, and I think them and the Astros are probably the 2 favorites in the American League to go to the World Series. So it'll be interesting to see if they're able to continue their success into the postseason, and hopefully for their sake they can save some of these wins for the postseason when the games matter. And Larry Jacobs asked how my classes are going, and I'm a freshman here at Virginia Tech. And my class has been going pretty well. It's definitely a lot of work, but I've been staying up on top of it, and a lot more interesting than high school classes. So I'm having a lot of fun here. Enjoyed my time as a Hokie so far. And another piece of District on Deck news is our own Ron Juckett today was his 1-year anniversary with us. So he does a great job here for us. He's one of the editors at District on Deck. So I hope he enjoyed his day off from coverage today. Obviously, we don't get too many days off, but he didn't have to cover the game. So hopefully he had a nice night and enjoyed whatever he was doing, and appreciate everything he does for the site. And he's been doing a great job for us for a year now. So definitely whenever he writes something, you got to check it out. He's one of our better writers here at District on Deck. Take a look at what went up on the site today. I had an article go up about 5 storylines to watch as the Phillies visited Nationals Park here for this 4-game series. You have to check it out. I don't want to go too much into what they were, but some of them definitely applied tonight. So you should go ahead and check that out and see what they were and how they affect the series moving forward if they do it all. Our newest writer, Sam Phillips, today he had his first piece published for us. he had an article about Jason Worth has earned his contract, and yeah, this is the last year of Jason Worth's contract. He signed that 7-year deal 7 years ago now, and he's done a great job for them. And Sam Phillips would agree with that, as he said that he's earned his contract. You definitely go check that out. Sam's a talented writer, and it's definitely a good read. And Ricky Keeler wrote today that about how the Victor Robles era is beginning in DC. Like I said, he was called up today. He's the Nationals' top prospect, and he was one of the top prospects in all of baseball, not just with the Nationals. So it should be a lot of fun to watch him play throughout the rest of September and throughout the rest of his hopefully long and successful career with the Nationals. Back in the chat, Seth asked when I graduated from high school. I graduated back in June from high school. So yeah, now like I said, I'm here at Virginia Tech. So take a look at the game for tomorrow. Max Scherzer is going to be opposed by Jake Thompson. This is Scherzer's first start since he got hit in the calf with a Travis Shaw line drive last week in Milwaukee. So while he did remain in the game, he had to leave early as it was tightening up on him. He only went 5 innings and 75 pitches. And then he left the stadium that night on crutches, and it obviously affected his routine in between starts. So it'll be interesting to see how he pitches tomorrow, if that leg is a factor in how he performs, and if his routine being screwed up kind of in between starts messes him up a little bit too. And so it'll definitely be interesting to see how Scherzer pitches, and he'll be opposed by Jake Thompson for the Phillies. So that'll be a good game to watch. Another game at 7:05. We'll see if the Nats can win 5 in a row, as they swept in Miami and then won the first game tonight. So they're on a little 4-game winning streak. Obviously, it's not as much as the Indians with their 15, but you know, a winning streak is a winning streak, and you'll take whatever you can get. So that just about covers it for tonight. We'd appreciate it if you would give this video a like and subscribe on YouTube. If you'd give us a like on Facebook, our Facebook is just District on Deck. And if you'd give us a follow on Twitter, we live tweet every game, and then we post all of these post-game DoDCasts along with other special DoDCasts such as interviews, and we did a show on like the trade deadline, probably do a playoff preview. So we got all these on our Twitter and our Facebook. You could follow us on Twitter at District on Deck, and if you want to follow me, you can follow me at DrewRD98. So it was a big game for the Nationals tonight, 4-3. They've now won 4 in a row. Be going for another win tomorrow with Max Scherzer on the mound. It's always a good sign. And the Nationals have been hot. Really, everyone's kind of heating up, and guys are working back from injury. So hopefully they're able to continue to play well and continue to get guys back and gear up towards the playoffs and go on a deep postseason run. So definitely the way they're playing right now, they're looking like it's going to be an encouraging postseason. Hopefully they can at least win their first postseason series since coming to DC. So from everyone at District on Deck, I'm Drew Douglas, and thank you for watching tonight, and have a great night, everybody.